Hello everyone, my name is Emma and welcome to a book wrap-up. For a second or two, for a hot sec even, I thought I might wrap presents where I wrapped up the books I've been reading, but then I was like, that sounds like a lot of work and a lot of prep, and I'm not that committed. So, wait a second, Goodreads. Hey guys, you know like the little bar on the what you're reading thing you're currently reading? It is now gold or green. I'm not really sure, but I don't like that color. It's unattractive to my eyes. But anyway, I thought I would do this because I haven't done one of these in a while. And yeah, I mean, it's fun to talk about things that you've read, I think. So, and then maybe I'll talk about the things I'm currently reading. Throw that in there. Just a little bit of a super booktube video, but not the full kit and caboodle. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is Binge by Tyler Oakley. Okay, so here's the story. I had 6 Audible credits, and I was like, yo, I have no idea what to do with 6 Audible credits. So, on sort of a whim, I got Binge, and I just needed something like easy to listen to while I was at school, because it was getting towards finals week, and towards the mouth of hell, or the hell mouth if you're a Buffy fan. And so I was like, so I listened to it, and guys, it was pretty good. It wasn't that bad. I don't always really at all like YouTuber books. I have problems with some of them. I just think that they're just poorly written most of the time, or boring. As you saw probably in my last video, where I kind of talked about that, sort of. Tyler Oakley's book was fun. I listened to it, which probably is the reason why I enjoyed it, because he has a fun personality, which came through really well in the audiobook. It was a good time. I did read some Goodreads reviews that were like saying, like, if he wasn't on YouTube, are these stories inherently important? And no, they're not. I mean, most of them are not. There's a few stories that I found touching. That's sort of the debate in general about celebrity memoirs, or celebrity memoirs who aren't already writers, or YouTuber memoirs, or whatever, people who are well-known's memoirs, is asking the question, are these stories inherently important? Like, would they be important if the person writing them wasn't a, like, famous person? And I would say Tyler Oakley, probably not. I'd say a couple of them were pretty good, though. Particularly his stuff about depression, and coming out, I thought were really great, and worth it, but the other stuff was just kind of fun. Next thing, Step Aside Pops by Kate Beaton. This lovely, I mean, I read it in like a couple hours. It's the sequel, not the sequel, but the continuation of her great, amazing literature, pop culture, historical, comic series. It's wonderful. I don't know. It was really funny. I thought it was funnier than Hark a Vagrant. It was really great, though. Next is a book that I absolutely loved in my heart so much, and that's Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. So I read Let's Pretend This Never Happened, and I enjoyed it. But I did not enjoy it, nor did I fall in love as much as I did with her next book, Furiously Happy, a funny book about horrible things, which has one of the most arrestingly beautiful covers I've ever seen in my life. This book is great. This book is, if you know anything about it, it's written by Jenny Lawson, who's dubbed the bloggeress. She's a blogger, obviously, and writer. And she talks about her struggles with depression and anxiety and general mental illness. And it was just so great, and it made me weep. Oh my gosh, I was so weepy. I weep through most of this book. This book talks about these issues in a way that feels like, it's very, like, even as a reader, very cathartic. So, like, even though I wasn't talking about my own issues, hearing her talk about them felt like I was releasing my own, if that makes sense. Has a really great book trailer, by the way, that is fantastic, and has Patrick Rothfuss in it. A lot of people love him. I haven't read his books. But just a really great book. Sort of, for me, groups with Inside Out, with important art in the last few years, that talk about mental illness or talk about emotion. So they're very opposite ends. You have Jenny Lawson over here where it's a little more adult and extreme, and then you have Inside Out over there where it's like the burgeoning sort of understanding of emotions, but just amazing. Just really great, and also funny, very funny, but also weepy, weepy town. Next is French Milk by Lucy Kinsley. I don't know what I did with that, and I think I'm saying her name wrong, but this is a book that Sarah from Sarah Actually Reads gave me for my birthday, and I've been reading it over time, kept leaving it at places. I finally finished it, and it's just like a travel journal, travel log of her time in Paris, Lucy's time in Paris around the time she was graduating college. It was really fun. It was really interesting. It didn't blow me away, but it was like really enjoyable. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Next is the reread that I did, which I also don't know where that book went, but that's Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I read Fangirl in 2013 when it first came out. I was at a different college. I was at a college that I did not enjoy, ended up not staying, so obviously I didn't enjoy it. And it was, and I actually did a review of it on my first booktube channel that I ever had. I did it in my dorm room. I think the video was like Dorm Room Reviews Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell or something. And that was, my old booktube channel that I had that no one watched. And I didn't really even watch or like. But this book is amazing. I love Rainbow Rowell, but I love Fangirl particularly, and I think part of that was when I read that book. I read it freshman year, and I was sort of doing a lot of the same things Kath was doing. I was feeling very overwhelmed and anxious and confused and out of my element and all those other things that everyone feels like college. And it was a great and happy reread. It reminded me of some good parts of my freshman year of college and also some not so good parts. But in general, it's just it's a good solid read, especially after reading Carry On, which I loved. Maybe even more than Fangirl. I haven't really decided. It just put Fangirl into even more perspective, or put those parts about Simon and Baz into a larger, deeper perspective, which was very cool. And then getting to what I'm currently reading, I'm reading Home Fires by Julie Summers, which is taking me a while because nonfiction always takes me a while, and that's the book about the Women's Institute in World War II. And then I'm also reading The Magicians by Lev Grossman. So this keeps happening. I don't normally reread books, but I took a bunch of books to my boyfriend's house for him to read beginning of the summer or something, and our apartment, and he, got busy and did other things, and so now I just sort of will be like, oh, this is one of my favorite books, and I get really excited when I'm over there and I have nothing to do. So, yeah, it's great. So that's what happened with Fangirl, and then The Magicians, it's what's happening now. And I just love this book. I read it when I was 15 years old. I read it, and then I met Lev Grossman the same year at a very, very small literary festival in my town. There was probably 15 people or so at the reading for his book, and I went up to him, and I talked to him for like 30 minutes, and that was kind of the glory of this really small literary festival, and I was shaking. I was so nervous, because this guy was like the coolest guy. I was 15 or 16, I can't remember, but it doesn't really matter. But just one of my favorite authors. I haven't read the other two books because The Magicians held such a crazy place in my heart, and I know that some people find the book to be pretentious or, like, trying too hard, but for me, reading it at that age, it felt so true and so real, and it still does. I'm still like, yeah, I can be a real douche and pretentious idiot and all those other things that Quentin can be. And I love it so much, and I'm going to reread the other two, so I'm going to finally do that because I'm reading this one. But, today I finally watched the trailer for the new sci-fi show, and holy God, mercy of God, what? No, thank you. They've made it into some, like, Hannah from, Storynut said this, like, some weird amalgamation of Gossip Girl and The Magicians, and it just feels wrong. It's very, like, sexed up and grown up, and it just, like, all the awkwardness and the sort of, like, normalcy that The Magicians has, because The Magicians does feel quite normal, the characters do, in this crazy setting. Felt like it was completely bogged down by sexiness and by aging the characters up, and it's just like, I haven't watched the show, but I'm not going to watch it, most likely, because I'm too afraid that's going to ruin my 15-year-old perspective of this book, and still my perspective today, which is that it's a really great book and wonderful. So yeah, anyway, that is my wrap-up thing I hope you enjoyed it. And, yeah, I still need more cues. Keep cueing them, and I will answer them soon. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day.